Well, hey everybody. It is a Tuesday and like crazy stuff's gone on this week. Bridges falling down, weird things happening out there. Jeff booked the load off the load board. Hey, we're going to talk about all that stuff I'm sure when we come back. So we'll see you right here.
Paying too much for trucking insurance? What if you could save more by making one simple phone call and keep more profit? You could very well do just that with one simple call to Seabright Agency, 800-366-6466. Call now.
Now here's a question that all owner-operators and small fleet owners should consider. What happens when you access the unrivaled advantages that are available through the ES Advantage program? We asked Jeff and Charley from Contractors Corner to share their thoughts on how they've been able to utilize the discounts and services that are a part of the ES Advantage.
Your business will make you money if you do well at that business. And ES Advantage in trucking, they do really well at providing those services. So the effect that ES has had on our personal trucking operations, not even talking about what we do on the consulting arena, I've been able to save thousands of dollars a year in fuel because of the relationship with them. I have a new accountant that I work with, trucker CFO, that I learned about from ES Advantage.
They're giving you that 10,000 yard kind of support from behind that creates a way for you to succeed, which is one of the things that we love, because anything you can do to help someone succeed is going to help them succeed. They make money by making sure you make money.
Now, if you're an owner-operator or small fleet owner and you would like to learn more about how you can drive savings to the bottom line of your business, the ES Advantage program has the discounts and services that deliver the kind of unrivaled advantages that are designed to help you improve your overall operation. Get connected with the ES Advantage today.
No.
That was funny. Come on, man.
Get up here, man.
God, that was good. I was like, he's not watching. He's not watching. Let's put him up all by himself.
Let's reading comments here.
Oh God! Hey everybody! What is this about premature, Alan? Look.
Nope. We have no jokes about that at all. Nope. Donna's watching. She will come for you.
Who
was first?
Matt Nissen.
Matt Nissen, number one.
At 3:08 p.m. You know what's weird? That was like, I don't know, 40 minutes after I actually posted everything.
Yeah.
I was like, man, I wonder if it's broken. Like nobody's popped up today.
You get a trophy from Craig, Matt. Did you see that? Way to go, right. Matt.
Yeah, he was literally. I think they had something going on there, because those two are on the phone all the time together.
I ain't judging.
Hey, man, I think Craig's like, hey, bro, post up. I'll be second, because Craig was right at 3:10. Trucker Tim, good to see you. Nick Earl, what's going on? I see y'all. They were up here earlier. I'm assuming they're still around. They may or may not be. Who knows? It's funny. Hey me.
It's a fun name.
Right? Let's see. Who else? There's people. Chris Hamilton. Oh, he says he's going to watch the replay. He's going to be on a plane.
Check this out. Gonna tell ghost stories today.
Right? It's not creepy at all.
Oh, man. We actually had some good conversations already going, man.
Yeah, it's a trip, right? Donna's in here. James Vaughn, Michael Fowler. Man, there's a few.
Yeah. Good stuff.
Still scrolling. It's a long. Alan Becker. What? Right there, Alan Becker. Just saying. Brian Jess, what's going on, man?
Yo.
Brian Jess was in our podcast, on our last podcast that was released. I can't talk.
2 podcasts ago now because we just had one released today, Charlie.
Right?
The
Yeah, that's
work-life balance discussion.
it's right there. Podwheels.com. Just saying. It's a thing.
And hey, you guys, if you have the time, which who doesn't right now, actually go to the Podwheels website, podwheels.com, and leave us a comment on there because we're curious about something. We want
Yeah.
to see if your comments actually show up on that platform. It's a new platform, like Brandon Spanking new. They're trying to build this thing just for truckers. It's pretty cool. They got some good stuff in there. Jimmy Max even got his little serialized, kind of silly but fun to listen to drama thing that he's got going on in there. Just go in there and click on us, and then leave a comment. We want to see if we can actually see your comments in there.
Yeah, that'd be cool. And I don't know, listen to the podcast if you think, Travis Jones, good to see you. Travis had a question. So, is it true the load board doesn't pay empty miles? If so, we're officially screwed using the load board.
We could talk about that. It is true. Are we screwed? Well, that depends on how you look at things.
Right? Victor, buenos tardes, hermano. I just like saying hermano because it's fun. I don't know why.
Okay.
Can't help it. Whatever.
And Donna has confirmed she's watching you. She's watching you.
I know.
She's not watching me because I'm a saint.
Yeah. Yeah. Donna got a cool new job working with kids and art and stuff, and that's awesome.
Yeah, she's gonna be an art
digging that.
assistant at one of the grade schools. She starts that job next week.
I think that's pretty cool.
So,
They
and
won't let me work
shout
with
out.
kids at school.
Well, I wouldn't want you around my kids.
I've been around your kids, and I've been just fine.
We sent them downstairs if you didn't notice. Oh, wait, that's because we were doing a podcast.
Not
Shout out to my daughter Violet, by the way, guys. She's going through her very first ever actual bona fide migraine headache right now.
That sucks.
Last I talked to Donna, she was in the emergency room getting hooked up to IVs and all sorts of stuff. So little who was sick? I don't even know. Anyway, so yeah, shout out to my daughter there because I can. It's my show.
Right? Dude. These pictures.
Oh yeah. So
OMG, yo.
more to say about this, by the way, that works into some of the stuff I was saying earlier in the chat, and I was talking to Charlie about before the show.
If there's a single Swift container on that boat, though, they're blaming Swift for it.
Yep. Darn Swift. So here's the thing. Look at all the containers on that thing, right? And one of the things I've been reading about today is the shift in the import ports in the United States. They're shifting to the east.
Right.
It's kind of an interesting thing, Charlie, because it's going to affect our businesses a little bit. If you guys watched the Swift leadership powwow that they had live, what was it, last week? They actually talked a little bit about how these transcontinental loads have really dried up industry-wide. It's mostly regional now. And these ships coming into the East Coast now is why. Apparently, and I'm not a mathematician. Is that a good word? Mathematician,
Sure.
geographer. But so apparently, and you guys can make fun of me all you want. I'm just going to say I didn't know this until recently. India, which is considered part of Asia, is closer to the East Coast than the West Coast. And China has lost 3% market share in U.S. imports, exports from China imported in the United States. 3% a year since 2021. And that business has been going to India. And so they've been shipping things to the East Coast because it's closer. Another thing that's happening is that The Panama Canal is still, it's a huge project. I'm sure you all probably started hearing about it a decade ago. They're redredging it and they're widening it so that these super container ships can go into, say, southern Texas instead of to the port of LA.
Right.
They're bypassing the West Coast. And so a lot of this stuff, if they're going to be dropping stuff in Texas, that's, half the country this way, half the country that way, right? You're not going to have to go all the way across the country with a train or a tractor trailer anymore. So that's going to have an absolute effect on our business.
Right.
Man, that is just crazy. I haven't seen
Isn't
that
it?
shot before. You've been over that bridge, right, Charlie?
Oh yeah.
Isn't it weird to see something that you've actually been across?
Yeah, I was saying that earlier to Rosie
Oh,
and
man.
my friends out front. I was like, oh man. Because it's funny, because like every time I go over one of those bridges and we get stopped in traffic on them, and you sit there and you're bouncing, I'm like, what if today is the day? Please don't let today be the day.
Well, and so I've had an irrational fear of bridges since I was a child. Growing up in
Oh, wow.
Portland, that's problematic, right?
Right? No doubt.
This
That's
terrifies me.
Right. It's insane, man. My mom has a horrible fear of bridges as well. Which is really crazy to watch her drive across one, because she goes straight tunnel vision when she gets on one.
Yeah.
And
I do that too.
hitting that Astoria Bridge or the one to Longview, right? Oh God,
man, the I-5 bridge across the Willamette River, that lower deck freaks me the heck out.
Oh, right. Yeah, no, not a fan of that either. Yeah, I don't even know
Especially
how
in
to
a big truck, because it's like 14 foot 1 inch, right? And
Exactly.
sometimes you're picking up those loads out of the toilet paper place, 14-foot trailer, right? Oh man, 180 feet above the water, Michael says. I didn't know it was that high. People survived that fall though.
Yeah, it's crazy.
People survived that.
Yeah, there was a video shot from the end of the bridge that the boat hit, and it was shot straight down the lane as the boat hit, and the explosion happened behind it, and everything just dropped, and just a couple people that had just come across, man. I'm like, oh, can you imagine seeing that in your rearview mirror? Like, what the heck? Oh my God.
Well, Donna was telling me that one of the articles she read said what happened was the ship lost thrusters.
Yeah, because
and they were on
3 times.
they were calling ahead saying, hey, we're going to hit that bridge. We cannot avoid this bridge.
Yeah, they sent a mayday out right before.
Yeah.
And some emergency people got part of it closed off.
So here's what's interesting, Matt. The Chesapeake Tunnel fascinates me. It doesn't freak me out at all. You're going down like this under that bay.
Right.
And I don't know if you know this, but like aircraft carriers go over that thing.
It's insane.
So you could be getting run over by an aircraft carrier while you're down there, just so you know, not to freak you out anymore. But you're going down and you can see the roof is like right there. But you're going down and then you go up.
Right.
It's the weirdest thing. I'm not claustrophobic at all, but man, bridges, they freak me out.
Sorry.
Yeah, so this story actually led me to these other stories about how there's more container ships coming into the East Coast now. So yeah, things are changing. It's going to affect our industry, obviously, because we are the overland carriers,
right?
People. I think people don't understand the intermodal business very well sometimes, Charlie. They see all of those Swift trailers or Schneider trailers or whoever your carrier is on those trains.
Yeah.
Oh, they're taking my job. Okay, so here's a little thing that I know about trains because I'm a railroad enthusiast. Anything that's on that train, you don't want.
Right.
Because it's like between a 500 and a 2,000 mile load. That's true. But it's got 3 weeks to get there.
Mm-hmm.
That's the stuff that goes by rail in today's rail setup. If they ever did high-speed rail, then I would be right behind you on that. But so far, they haven't been able to get that done anyway, so they still need us
Right.
until the robo trucks hit. That's
Oh,
something that's
now
been
you
on
just
the
now you
socials all over the place.
right now you
They
just
got that.
trying to start another fight.
Well, they got that one company that's putting completely driverless trucks in service this summer. Not a single, not a human being in them at all.
Hmm.
In the past, Charlie and I, we've been following this a little bit.
Right.
We've actually told Brett Stewart, we said, we want to be the first guys to lease a driverless truck. We'll be that test for you.
It'd be fun.
Because we believe that it's coming. There's nothing you can do about it, guys. So, I mean, you can beat them. You can't beat them, so you might as well join them. If you're in business,
Figure out how to make
look at
profit.
look at what the future holds and try and profit from it. Anyway, so in the past, they've had 2 people in these trucks at all times. They had a driver and a software engineer. They're taking the people out this summer. We'll have to see how that works. I don't know. I do believe that the technology will be here eventually. I'm just not convinced that it's now. So, Trucker Tim, so another interesting thing I learned today is that did you know that 58% of the population lives east of the Mississippi?
Right.
I didn't actually know that until today. So if they're going to use, so they could go down around Florida and hit, what's that port city in the big one? It's not Brownsville, is it? Texas.
In Texas, yeah.
Right down there on the Horn.
Yeah.
In the Gulf. I know they've been doing that lately. So I'm thinking that a lot of the West Coast stuff is going to go through there. So, that's still a 1,400-mile load from there to the coast.
Right.
I'm just saying. I mean, let's be real. Anything out of southern Texas is a 400-mile load. Doesn't matter where it goes.
Yeah, pretty much.
It could be going to Dallas, and that's 350 miles. So,
yeah. Hey, you crank out a couple of those.
Yeah. So, yeah, had that incident today. Kind of scary. Glad I was not in the area. They have no idea. They're going to have to completely rebuild that bridge.
Yep.
And so, yeah, they were saying 35,000 big trucks go over that thing every single day. 35,000.
It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. Like, it's just so much of this crap going on. But our infrastructure's fine. Okay, so that's kind of special, though. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
But still, they said it was totally within code. It was all good. It just wasn't rated to be hit by a boat.
Yeah.
I don't know. Seems odd to me. You would think they would build like magic bumpers on it or something, because I don't know, boats go under it.
Yeah, Tim, this is one of the things I thought about it. I just can't believe Tim says I can't believe how much collapsed.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it hit in a certain point. I could see a couple spans going boom, but yeah, the whole dang thing came down.
It's because it's all of that bracing, cross bracing. It's all tied together. It all depends on all of it. Gosh, man, I've been just baffled by that all day today.
James Vaughn, that was in
Baltimore.
Dang it, Baltimore.
Yeah, it's. I don't know. I currently have a migraine, so bear with me. But I just took a shot. Jeff got to watch me shoot a needle into my arm. It was pretty awesome.
Yeah, that thing is like, so I'm used to needles for like my whole family's diabetic. And eventually I'll probably be on the insulin too. I mean, let's just be real. The insulin needles are like, oh, I think a mosquito hurt worse than that.
Right.
What Charlie showed me today. Nah. Yeah, it's a little
actually
beefier.
see the needle, but I actually showed him the needle inside the thing, and yeah, it's bigger than the needles I use for my other stuff, and it sucks.
It's almost like the NBC. It's almost like the NBC auto
right?
injector.
Yeah. Oh my God, that thing. Oh man. So I'm a little off, Jeff. You got to maintain us on a flow. I apologize.
So
I saved a couple of comments there.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Where? Start.
Yeah.
Click.
Uh,
Okay, so let's do the load board thing because
yeah.
I've been arguing this with you guys for days now on the private Facebook page. And I'm not going to change my answer here. Travis is talking about not getting paid empty miles on the load board.
Let me read it.
Love
Jeff,
you
I love you
guys.
guys, but it depends on how you look at things. Question mark. Come on, Jeff. You've got to be kidding. LOL.
I am absolutely not kidding. You know, as a business owner, again, you know, we are talking about being entrepreneurs here. You have to do the math. That's on you. 100% do the math. And I'll just run through again the numbers on a load that I booked a couple days ago. Okay. 50 miles empty, 1,200 miles loaded. So I'm going to eat 50 miles. Okay. So I'm losing about $47 worth of revenue, plus the give or take $10 worth of fuel. What would it? Let's do the actual math on that fuel. Okay. So 50 miles, I get 8.5 in this truck. That's 5.88 miles per gallon. And what's this week's average, Charlie? Did you get that? I'll be honest, I didn't even look at this. Now, let's just use the national average. It's going to be less in Texas where the load word originated. But
the national average here, I got it right here. My bad. It is 4.034.
034. So I'm going to spend $23 in fuel. So 23 plus 47. I'm going to spend $70. Okay, $70 is what that's going to cost me. Those empty miles.
And the 42.50 in
dispatch.
Empty mile pay. 50 miles at 85 cents is 42.50.
Yeah, okay. So 42.50, not 47.
Yeah.
I'm going to stick with 47 because it sounds scarier.
Okay.
And it gives me a nice round number of 70.
Okay, I dig it.
So $70, give or take, is what it's going to cost you to go grab that load. And so that's $1.15 a mile plus, was it 45 cents a mile this week?
0.459.
$1.60 times 1,200. So the gross revenue on that load is $1,930.80. Are you telling me you wouldn't spend $70 to make $1,900?
Seems easy to me.
That seems like an easy decision to me. I'm going to take that deal.
Would I rather have the 85 cents?
Yeah.
Yep.
But I'm dispatching myself. I'm not waiting on a planner.
Right.
So you're rolling the dice here. You got to know your market well enough. And Texas has not been a great market the last couple of weeks. So I just jumped the line. I did not get planned on my PTA. I might have sat there for 2 days. At over $150 a day to sit there that I would be losing.
Right.
You got to make the best decision for your business. Get the emotion out of this, guys. Stop saying you're getting screwed. I've seen that so many times. Nobody's screwing you. Nobody's got a gun to your head saying you got to take load board freight. You can wait for planners. The load board is set up so that you have a choice. It is one tool in our arsenal of tools. Learn to leverage it when it makes sense. Would I take a load that had 250 empty miles on it? Heck no. No. Well, never say never, right, Charlie?
Right.
I would do the math. You got to figure out. I was talking to another guy on the Facebooks. Again, I've been arguing this for a day or so because we're getting screwed. You have to know what it costs to move that truck per mile, both loaded and empty. That's a number. Those are two numbers that you have to have in your head. What is it? You have to know what it costs for you to have that truck sitting there not working for 24 hours. You need to know that number. Okay. And if you know those three numbers, you can make a determination on if that load is worth it to you in about 30 seconds.
Hey, Travis
could
said, Jeff, an average empty miles is 120, 180, 50 miles is extremely rare. I say it's not extremely rare because you can set your load board search up for that parameter.
Yep.
And look, Alan's like, Travis, I'd rather eat 200 miles than sit for days. I repositioned myself further for a lot more money out of my pocket to get a chance at a load.
Heck, Alan and I both recently ate the mileage from, doggone it, where the Air Force Academy is.
Annapolis. No, that's not
Really?
Annapolis. Look,
It's
migraine. The other side of the world is Utah. It's in Utah.
It's in Colorado, dude.
Colorado, yeah.
Anyway, the Target DC down there.
The Springs place. Colorado Springs.
I'm
not helping.
To the Walmart DC
Gone.
over in Missouri, right?
Who cares about the
600 miles we deadheaded to work there for a week. Why did we do that? Because it penciled out. That's why we did that. You got to do the math, guys. Do the math. You're not on this load board thing. You're not changing Swift's mind. We tried.
We've been trying.
We came short. We stopped short of getting lawyers involved. Okay, guys, because contract, right? This is a contractual thing. So when you have to opt into the load boards, you have to agree to this.
Right.
No empty mile thing. Again, there's no gun to your head. You can just do business as usual and let the planners plan you. You can make your phone calls like we recommend. You can have, a lot of you have your contacts. I still use my contacts. When my contacts tell me there's no freight, you know what I do? I check the load board. Because what we're seeing on the load board is the AS400 freight.
Right.
It's the same thing they're planning you on. The difference is I'm jumping the line. So I'm in Savannah, Georgia right now. There's nothing on the load board, nothing. But this is an area that has a lot of same day freight.
Right.
So when I'm done with my 34-hour reset Thursday morning, I'll be checking that load board about every 30 minutes to an hour. See if anything pops up. I'll be messaging my peoples. See if anything pops up.
Right.
So my point is, and I get a little passionate about this one, Charlie. I get it. So if I'm rubbing you the wrong way, I do apologize. But what we're trying to get folks to do is get away from this victim mentality and really own your business. We're really pushing this road warrior entrepreneur thing hard. And there's a reason for that. Start seeing yourself as an entrepreneur. Start looking for those opportunities, whether they're at the carrier you're at now. Most of our people right now are still Swift people, right? We're gaining people outside of Swift, which we're really excited about because we get to learn about what other carriers are doing for folks.
Right.
Maybe your plan does not include the carrier you're at right now.
Right.
As an entrepreneur, you need to be looking for those opportunities. Silly opportunities, even. Charlie and I are looking at getting into a different sector of the business right now. Will it work? We have no freaking clue.
Look, I don't even know how to bid this thing yet. So
no, but we're going through the process. We've coached some of you guys on some business opportunities that haven't panned out, but you know what? We all learned something from the process. How do you get in with these people? How do you start the conversation? And a lot of it is stuff we've learned over the years just working with old Papa Swift.
Right.
You guys, you get a lot of Swift guys are like, well, you could talk to Brett Stewart. Well, so can you.
Right.
If you don't think you can, call me. Hit me up on Messenger on Facebook. I will teach you how to talk to Brett Stewart. I will give you his phone number.
The more people that have relationships with higher ups in the companies that they do business with, the better.
Mm-hmm. They need to hear from more of us.
Yeah.
Jeff and I go to them with a lot of things, and we're like, okay, yeah, and they're like, okay, well, you guys kind of have the pulse of, they know there's 250 people in the private Facebook group, right? And they know that we talk to more people than that, and they're like, oh, okay, so you guys have some sort of idea, but if it came from more people, it carries more weight, Hey, Travis Jones said, I'm trying to figure out why the load board doesn't pay empty miles. Like, who does that benefit? Well, it does benefit Swift.
It benefits Swift.
Yeah.
Let's be real. I can tell you the reasoning behind it. And I had other ideas of how they could do this. They don't want you going out of market and paying you to go out of market to go grab a load. Now, one of the companies that we've learned a little bit about is Schneider. I don't know if they do this anymore. I haven't talked to any of their guys in a while, but there for a while, Charlie, remember, if you were an owner operator at Schneider,
right,
and you grabbed an empty trailer and took it out of market, you owed them $250.
Yeah.
There was a fee for taking a trailer out of market. Now they could go wherever they want, but if they left the market, $250. That's how they did it. So, Full Send Trucking, he's got some interesting things in the fire. You're trading the benefits of empty miles for the opportunity to slide ahead of 300 other PTA loaded drivers. It's not rocket science, guys. Wake up. That is the primary benefit of the Swift load.
Right.
Is it what we wanted?
No,
not even close. But it is a tool that we did not have 2 weeks ago. And it does allow us to jump the line.
I will say it was hilarious to me, though, that Jeff tried to book the first load and crashed the load board.
Yeah. It was a good load, too. It was like the perfect load of what I wanted. I was like, oh, cool. It's only 10 miles away from my drop. Right. It's 800 miles, and it's going to a place that I know has good 5G ultra-wide service. Right. I can work on the new website.
So, Michael Fowler, years ago, we had brokers we could deal with. This was a good thing, but don't know why it ceased. There's many reasons why that ceased. It's many bad reasons.
Okay, I'm just going to say it, Charlie. There was fraud involved in that deal.
Right.
Straight up fraud. And that's why it happens.
At least if you talk to people, that's what they say. Look, we caught it from the outside of what was going on, and we've heard non-public conversations about it, and it was people were being financially harmed.
Yes.
And that's why that went away. I mean, I loved it too, because I was actually supposed to be the very first one on the command board. And I'm like, nah, bro, I got my Cabela's gig going. I was happy. You know what I mean? I'm like, I'm good right now. And then so I ended up being like number 48 on it. And I used it for a while. And it was great. I had a great broker that I dealt with all the time. Loved that dude. And he knew exactly what I wanted minimally. And, he would try to find me more. But he wouldn't call me for anything less than, my set point. Unless I said, hey, man, I'm in a spot that's totally dicked for freight right now. And I know. And he'd be like, okay, all I got is this. And it's all it's paying is this. And I'm like, it's better than sitting and doing nothing. So it was one of those math choices,
The few loads that I took from them, one of them was literally on the top of a mountain in Colorado to a ranger station.
That's awesome.
Yeah. It paid well. The reason I didn't use it was because I was that often, though, is because I was a mentor at the time. And mentors back then, it was just like, hey, how much do you want to work this week? Well, I want to work this much. Okay, let's hook you up. So I wasn't hurting for freight, and I was trying to teach students how to use the Swift system.
Right. So Turkey Tim said, but you can't T-call load, correct? What about in the event of a breakdown or the load canceling on you upon arrival? As Craig question. So this is Swift Freight. I'm not positive, but I'm thinking that there's still T-call possibilities available, but I don't know. I'm not on the test this time. They cut me out. So I can't actually speak firsthand.
Technically speaking, there's no T-calls on load board freight. You book it, you own it. But in the case of breakdowns, stuff like that, they have worked with me in the past. Now, when it was Swift Logistics Freight, no way, no how.
Right.
This isn't Swift Logistics Freight. This is AS 400 freight.
Right. As far as
Um,
loads canceling on you when you get there, Jeff, that's something that I don't know that they've addressed, or have they?
it's the same contractual agreement. But here's the thing. If a load cancels on you, when was the last time you got paid without Magic Mama Dana paying you $50?
Right.
That's between you and your OOC, unless you've done an arrived at call at the shipper and then you're told
Right.
that it's been canceled. That arrived at and then the cancellation triggers that pay.
Right. Yeah, it's weird. Michael Fowler, I did that load all the time. There was
Styrofoam.
yeah, it was great. Only wait. I would pick up, where the heck was it? Because it didn't go to the fish market. I can't remember now. That was great. I used to go, but I used to go from Florida up to Massachusetts, and it was great. It was coolers. It was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Can't remember that cooler name. They were cool. Sorry, migraine. I'm just scattered, y'all. I apologize. This shot does magical things too.
Yeah. And Alan Becker is planning on hopping off onto Swift Logistics here in a couple months with his own authority. So we're looking forward to watching what he does with that. Swift Logistics, if you guys, so Alan and I have talked about this at length over the last year. And it seems to us that if you guys want to get your own authority, probably one of the better ways to do it is to do what he's doing, because we already have relationships at Swift.
And it kind of dips your feet in.
Right. And the only thing that's required on the Swift Logistics is that you do your first load on time, no ifs, ands, or buts.
Right.
If you could do that, you're golden.
There's none of this. First load?
Yeah, there's none of this. How many inspections have you had this year? None of that.
Right.
It's just a straight, can you be on time? That's the expectation at Swift Logistics. So it's an easy way to get in, your feet wet with your own authority, I think.
Hey, the fuel surcharge, we were talking about that, and I figured I should put the banner at 0.459 for you Swift guys, 10 cents on the West Coast. There you go, scrolling across the bottom.
That's 10 cents additional, by the way.
Right.
For those of you guys that are not Swift guys that don't know how our thing works, we get an extra bump for the West Coast because the West Coast is crazy.
California, Oregon, Washington, Idaho. Is it Idaho? No.
Idaho, Nevada, and Arizona.
And Corinne, Utah.
And Corinne, Utah, which is weird because it's not that expensive in Corinne, Utah. But anyway, I think that's just for those Walmart guys.
Right. It's hilarious. Who knows why people do what they do?
So, Trucker Tim, what's the difference between Swift Logistics and what we haul now? Swift Logistics is Swift's brokerage business. They do spot market freight. They have their own freight that has nothing to do with what we're hauling right now.
Sometimes
so a lot of times
platform.
Sometimes, yeah. If they can't meet their load they can't get power, they'll shove it over onto Swift.
Or Swift is way overbooked in the market, they will put that out there as well.
Yep. So one of the things that we see all the time is, why do I see those outside carriers carrying so many Swift loads? Well, they're not Swift loads usually, they're Swift Logistics. It's a different sector of the business completely and has very little to do with Swift transportation LLC. So eventually what the plan was for the load board, I don't know anymore I mean, it was such a pain in the butt to get this thing to go in the first place. I don't know if they're going to still do this, but they were going to add Swift Logistics to that load board. I don't know.
Yeah. There was a lot of things that were going to happen.
I mean, when we first started, it was all Swift Logistics, and even though they weren't paying me spot
Those
market,
loads were awesome.
They were paying me just my regular contract rate. Dude, they were great. I ran 3 weeks with one trailer. It was awesome. And those of you guys are like, well, all those live loads and unloads. Let me tell you something. When you go in with a Swift Logistics load, which is spot market freight, you get treated differently, completely differently. I was in and out of those places in 90 minutes. Done.
Yeah, no Idaho on the West Coast fuel surcharge. You're right, Matt.
I thought it was.
No,
Oh, okay.
it's those right there. He's right.
Hey, somebody's got their contract in front of them.
Right. Alan, even brand new authority they take, the best thing is finding freight with being new is extremely difficult. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Blackbeard, when Planner, hey, Blackbeard, did you ever get your light from Sue? I left your light on Sue's desk. I know it's been forever, bro.
Man, that was like months ago.
Yeah, but it was on Sue's desk. I don't know. Put your name on it and everything. I'm just saying. When planners say there's no freight and short 70 plus loads in an area, they can't pull loads off the spot market. I've seen good paying loads in an area they say they're short. It's a thing. I get it. And I don't know. I don't have a good answer. I don't. It sucks. You wish that they could grab more of that, but they don't. And some of it's sketchy. I mean, honest to God, there's risks involved with pulling spot market freight. There's
people don't get paid. I mean,
yeah,
I'm a member of several groups, and one of the main complaints that guys out there with their own numbers have is, hey, how do I hit this company's bond? They didn't pay me.
Right. It's a net 90 pay schedule to start with. So you're waiting 3 months and then you get to the end of 3 months and the company's no longer in business.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of that happens. There's lots of reasons. Look, I'm not trying to Monday morning quarterback what they do. I look, that's beyond my skill set, honestly.
And, let's just talk about our experience for a second, Charlie.
Right.
There has been times in my career where if I called the OOFCs, as they're called now, the owner-operator planners, as we used to call them,
fleet consultant,
their job was to get us moving, no ifs, ands, or buts when we called them. And they would pull from Swift Logistics. But they haven't done that in what? It's probably since the pandemic.
Right. It's been weird, yeah.
I think that Swift does what's good for Swift, and I can't blame them. I don't like some of the things, but I can't blame them.
There are always options. You got to always be looking at stuff. Just saying.
I mean, we've got a couple of guys that are going out there trip leasing right now. And that's where, you keep your IEL lease and all that stuff. You're still leasing Swift, but you're pulling for another company for a few weeks or whatever.
So Alan said factoring companies are great to use with spot freight, guarantee that you get paid minus their fees, but they wait that network. Yeah. But here's the problem with that is if they can't collect, guess who they come after, Alan? We learned this not too long ago. When the factoring companies can't actually collect, they will come back after you eventually. And that sucks.
Yeah, it's up to you to hit that bond or whatever you need to do to get the money at that point. And we've talked about it before, Alan. The rates for factoring have gone up 3-4% now. And people are, well, it's only 3 or 4% of the contract.
Right.
Okay, do that 3 times a week and tell me how much money you paid out to get your money early.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a whole lot. It's a whole lot better if you're able to cash flow. Right. And I understand that there's a place for factoring, otherwise it wouldn't exist. Sometimes
Right.
you just need your money. Maybe you got a bill, maybe you got this, maybe you got that. But man, there's guys that rely on that, and they're paying by the end of the year thousands of dollars.
Right.
Enough to go to Hawaii for a week in a year.
Yeah.
Easy.
Yeah.
To the good hotel, not the Motel 6.
Yeah. That's right. You're gonna go to the Super 8 now. Oh wait, what?
Yeah.
Oh, this headache is like mellowing out finally,
Good. Glad to hear
but
it.
it's not great.
Right. I mean, and again, Alan, you and I have talked about the cash flow issue before. It's the same thing like with the ES Advantage fuel card.
Right.
The barrier to entry there is it's a prepaid card.
Right.
But with the amount of money that you save on fuel, if you could just get to that point where you're cash flowing it each week, that's where the real savings starts hitting your bank account.
Mm-hmm.
What else we got? There were some other questions up here. I can't remember.
It wasn't Peabody that I was talking about. It was Life Foam.
Hmm.
And they came out of Florida and went north to Massachusetts, which was, yeah, it's funny. So the opposite of what Michael Fowler was talking about earlier. I would pick up, I just remembered, I would pick up Life Foam coolers, and it was a horrible, tiny little crazy yard that you had to deal with. But anyhow, you would pick up these coolers, and it was straight up styrofoam coolers, and you would take them up to Massachusetts, deliver on another weird, crappy yard up there in the dirt, and go on about your day, and it was awesome. Blackbeard, check with her. See if she's still got it. I left it on her desk one day, and if not, I look, we will hook up, brother. I keep one in the truck in a box just in case. That's what's funny. Jeff scrolling.
Yeah, I don't know, man. My eyes hurt.
Yeah. Yes.
I've been driving the midnight to 10, 11 shift lately. It's killing me, man. I was just talking to a guy earlier that's looking at leasing a truck, and I was telling him, yeah, I mean, we were talking about how much idle kills your fuel mileage. And I'm like, well, here's the thing though, after you're about 45, I just stopped caring. I am not uncomfortable in this truck.
Right.
I told him, I said, but I could tell you what it costs me. I said, you won't get any argument, and you guys know this about us. You won't get any argument if you could tell me what something costs you.
Right.
Some of you guys like to drive 72, 75, whatever. If you could tell me what it costs you and look me in the eye and say, but I'm doing it anyway, I'm like, okay, it's your business. I'm just saying there's possibility for savings here.
Right.
Idling. I idle way more than I should, especially with an emissions truck. But, it costs me money. I know it. I like my sleep. So this could lead into an interesting discussion, Charlie. I see you started this one.
Yeah, I saw that.
Alan Becker is coming clean with the world today, and he and I talked about this when he was kind of going through this. I'm sure he talked to Charlie too.
Oh yeah,
only with more expletives.
Yep.
I turned in 3 leases, closed the fleet, and now focusing on rebuilding, restructuring with all owned equipment. So this is actually going to be a podcast thing for us here in the future. And I want you guys to think about this. When is it time to take a step back?
Right.
I mean, even all the way to, and I hate this because you know me, Charlie, death before company.
Right.
But at what point do you say, man, I'm just going to go drive a truck for someone for a while, reset my goals, reset my mind, and go after it again with a new plan? At what point do you do that? We've seen a few guys in our private group, in the Swift group, do that recently. It's like, yeah, man. I mean, we had one guy literally lost everything. was living in his truck as a result. He's like, I can't do it, man. I gotta just go work for somebody. Okay, so use this time and reset yourself and have that same discussion that we like to see you have before you became an owner operator the first
Right.
time. Do I want to be a business owner? Do I want to do this? Okay, I made some mistakes that cost me some money. How do I avoid that on my next go?
Right.
Or for a lot of people, it's just being a business owner, being in this game was such a negative experience for them. Maybe they just never want to do it again.
Right.
And I got to tell you, I'm going to give you guys permission. That's okay. You know, I had this crazy thing about entrepreneurship, and you know, I've always said that if I didn't have a truck, I would be doing something else. I would have some other business. You know, before Charlie and I started all this, I was looking at getting out of trucking and starting a retail store.
Right.
Done all my research and everything, and I was like, okay, we can do this. My son Joe is just as into the gaming as I am. It was going to be a tabletop gaming store, you know, board games
Warhammer.
and Warhammer and all that stuff. And he could help me do it, and it would help him get through college, and it would pay for our house, and we were ready to go. And then some of the numbers didn't add up,
Right.
so we didn't pull the trigger. We kept looking at it, and then the pandemic happened.
Right.
And retail stores in Oregon and Washington became illegal overnight. Literally, you could not open your doors. Funny story about that. So my friend Trent, he owns the gaming store that I love. I love his store. It's called Dangerous Gentleman in Longview, Washington.
Right.
And the Gestapo's no longer active there, so I could say all this. But he was like the speakeasy of gaming for a while.
Right.
Like he kept his doors locked, and if he knew you, he would let you in. And you could play Magic the Gathering, Warhammer, whatever.
That's funny.
But literally a speakeasy for gamers. It was great.
Right.
He was like, "Well, I'm gonna go out of business if I don't do this. So screw those guys." You know.
Hey man, sometimes you got to do some things.
I'm telling you. Alan Becker wants to buy Chewy. I'm just
I
putting it
know.
out there now.
Oh, we talked about it so many times. It's crazy.
Hey, Alan, I want to know how much it would cost me to have you come to my house in Utah and look at my truck. That's worth money. You know, if you can help me get her on the road, that's worth quite a bit of money to me, actually.
Right. My arm hurts from that shot now.
Yeah, he made me watch. Ugh. It's a good thing you didn't do it live on the show, because Violet would have passed out. She hates needles.
Oh God.
So here's how bad her migraine was, according to reports from Donna. They were hooking her up to the IV, and she didn't even flinch. This is a girl who, up to, and Donna can correct me if I'm wrong, up to maybe even a year ago, when she had to go in for her booster shots for school,
Right.
she would literally bolt. Like she would be gone, running down the hall, to the point that orderlies had to go get her and bring her back.
Wow.
That's how afraid of needles she is.
Alan wants to know, look or show you how to fix it.
Well, we can talk about that, Alan.
Right.
I would like to learn how to fix it, because, you know, anything I learn is good for my business. I mean, I paid one of my best friends from high school $1,000 to show me how to do a bee service.
Right.
That's what that was worth to me.
Trucker Tim said, this is why I've been hesitant on building a fleet right now. I just feel the risk is a lot higher than when I started out in 2019. I mean, if I still had a payment, I'd be in the hole every month.
That's a legitimate concern.
Right.
You know, even with my grand plans, I'm seriously looking at, you know, can I do what I plan on doing? You got to that's where I say, you know, you have to have the ability, right, to take a step back and say, you know, I was really excited about that idea, well, for me, Charlie, 4 months ago.
Yeah.
Build a small fleet, teach people how to be owner operators, get really excited about it. Then you start running numbers, and you have to be willing to step back from the excitement and face those cold, hard numbers.
Right.
And honestly, right now may not be the best time to lease 5 trucks and put drivers in them.
Jason here for Army Cane said, I had to get rid of my 2023 Lone Star last summer due to family medical that would keep me off the road for months. Got a local FedEx freight, hated it. Today he signed for his 2024 Lone Star and he's back OTR. Good for you, man. I'm glad, Jason.
Not about the Lone Star, but glad you're back on the road.
Yeah. He's back at it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and so you took
back in the ring again. Yeah.
You took a step back. Now you're back in the saddle. You guys know part of my story is I just love the game. A lot of the stuff Charlie and I are doing in the background to bring better things to you guys is negotiating stuff, right? And Charlie will tell you, I kind of get into it.
Right.
It's
a trip.
When you guys see me, you guys see me, Mr. Personality here. I get it, but man, Charlie's actually seen me in full on sales mode.
It's funny to watch. It's impressive.
Yeah, I was selling Trucker CFO at a conference because he had actually been, he was the one that invited us to that, and we were on a panel and all sorts of stuff, and we were at his table for a while, and I'm like, I'm gonna sell your stuff. This will be awesome.
Old sales juices going, man. It was creepy and cool all at the same time. Like he just it was a different hat. Like he's like, whoop, let me put this hat on, and bam, man, he was at it. And like people were like, "Oh wow, great, thanks, that's awesome."
Yeah.
Even Colton was like, "Look at him go." I'm like, "Yeah, bro, let's talk." We just let Jeff do his thing. It was awesome. Trucker Tim's asking you a direct question. He said, "So Jeff, would you like to explain it in more detail why you have issues with Landstar, or is that reserved for a private conversation?" Sorry, I can't read.
I'm wondering if he's confusing the 2023 Lone Star, which is a truck,
Nope,
with Landstar, the company that I have a fetish for.
I don't know. I don't think
so. Landstar as a company is a great company. I mean, you want to up your game and pretend like you have an authority before you actually get an authority. Landstar is a great place to do it. So is Mercer.
Mm-hmm.
Those two companies right there. If you want to dip your foot in the water, a little deeper water than you're in now, those two companies are great to do it in. I have no issues with Landstar other than it's not quite as profitable as their recruiters say. When you get the when you get the recruiting package from them, it looks great. And I even took that recruiting packet to several, they call them BCOs. That's their owner operators that I know. I said, "Is this for real? Do these loads really pay this much?" And they're like, "Yeah, man. As a matter of fact, I'm on one right now that pays 30 cents more." "Oh, really? Okay. But you're not going to see that." "Well, what do you mean I'm not going to see that?" "Well, I've been at Landstar for 3-4 years now, and it's because I know the brokers. You have to spend time building relationships with brokers before you see this kind of freight." "Oh, okay." So I've asked a couple of them that are successful there, how do you actually do it? They say, "Well, first of all, make sure you've got your 6 months worth of what you need to live on in the bank."
Right.
Because it's going to take you that long to get freight that's over like $2 a mile. Because when you first start, they don't know you. And this is brokered freight. You work through their brokers. There is some negotiation involved, things like that. But until you get a reputation with these people, they're not going to give you their good stuff that pays. They don't want to lose that customer.
Right.
It's like, you ever watch ice road trucking, Charlie, and you see those guys go from Canada to Alaska,
Mm-hmm.
and they're just not. They're making junk, and they're used to making big bucks up in the Northern Territories.
Right.
They go to Alaska, and the one guy ended up. Remember the kind of jerky guy, the big guy. He
Yeah.
ended up driving a sewage truck just to make ends meet while he was there. And
Right.
why? Because they didn't know him.
Yeah.
You know, he got to do a couple seasons. So that's why my only issue with Landstar is the risk of going over there. Life on 18 Wheels wants to know if it's in my books for a possible future. I look at them every couple of years. That's one of the companies that I actually contact to say, hey, how are things going? So far, it has not been attractive enough for me to leave Swift. And right now, just a heads up, with rates in the toilet the way they are, we're making more money right now at Swift than a lot of Landstar guys. Just saying.
Right.
Because you know, if a guy was pulling $2.50 before, he's pulling $1.89 now. They got the same expenses. It's also, by the way, if you're one of those people, and bless your heart if you are, if you're one of those people that relies on Papa Swift a little too much, a company like Landstar or Mercer, they will eat you alive.
Yeah, they're not paying for nothing.
No. So
your truck breaks down, you figure it out.
Yep. A lot of those guys, they got that thing through Penske. You know, Penske's got that rescue service. You know, Charlie, we were talking with Matt Wright about his boss that likes to lease from Penske because of the full service lease they have.
Right.
They have a program, costs some money, quite a bit actually. But if your truck breaks down, they will bring you a truck.
He was even talking about they couldn't get a truck replaced one day, so Penske sent a tow truck out, hooked up to the truck and trailer, and delivered the load on the hook.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
Yeah. But you pay for that type of service.
Yeah, exactly.
You guys are worried about your $600 a week payment.
Right.
But this is a specialized company though. They do event stuff. Like they haul like the big speakers and stuff to concerts and stuff.
All of the staging, everything. It's crazy.
So they have to be where they have to be on time, no ifs, ands, or buts. So that extra stuff that they pay Penske, that saves them from getting what did he say? Especially like in the union down there in LA.
Oh yeah, it was like
Man,
millions of dollars a day in just union work.
Right, because they hire so many people to set the stages, and they're there when they're supposed to be there. And if you're not there, you're paying them.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Tens of thousands of dollars an hour. Because it's 50 guys.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was crazy, man.
So all the again, as entrepreneurs, what we're looking at, we're trying to actually get Matt Wright for the podcast because he's doing something totally different. He's doing something totally different. He's doing this event stuff, and we're going to bring that to you guys. What's that business all about? Just looking into everything you can. I'm not sure how to get a DD15 to burp.
For me, it was just a matter of waiting.
Like when you replace the fluid, the coolant. Oh
yeah.
So when I had my radiator replaced on the 16, it burped 3 times over the course of 4 days.
I had Chewy take me a month to get it right once. My international took 3 weeks, about 3 weeks to get it right. It was just like every day, a little more, and it was, sensor would pop off. Hey, you're cooling slow. I'm like, no, it's not. Oh yeah,
just keep
burping.
What I did when I had the radiator replaced, because the techs at the Freightliner that did it, they actually warned me about it. And every time I stopped, I popped the hood, checked the fluids.
Right.
Yeah, that means that every time you stop, you're stopping for at least a half an hour to let things cool down a little bit, but it's better than getting that fluid low.
Tim said he's talked to drivers when he can to see things how things are for them. But that's the thing is, I mean, also ask them how long they've been there. Because I've known quite a few people who actually left here with paid for trucks, gone over there and been there a year and said to hell with it and left trucking completely because they couldn't make any money because they couldn't build the relationships fast enough. I mean, there's a steep learning curve there, especially coming out of a situation like a lot of people are in here. They're just used to everything being taken care of and not having to really pay attention, which is unfortunate. And we try to talk those types of people out of it, get a little more hands-on in your day-to-day now. Let's have some conversations, tell us what your daily rate is here. What is it you need to cover everything that you have now, right? And a lot of people can't answer those questions. And those people probably shouldn't go to places like Landstar. Not now. Not yet. There's some education that needs to happen first. Sean Fairman, text said text said can give fits some of them for weeks. Yeah, it can. Like I said, weeks. Chew took me a month one time. Like I said, in the international I had was about 3 weeks, I think, something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, and Trucker Tim, truth. Exactly. I mean, you got to know what's really going on. You have to be able to actually understand your business before you can really step out into something that's got far more responsibility and far more loss for a word here.
Come on, Tim. We're starting to drop viewers right now. We need to fight. Say something that we can fight about.
Yeah. Hey, Donna's home from the ER. She's feeling a bit wobbly still, but back to being couch potato and resting. Yay!
Burrito. I call her burrito.
I feel the pain, Donna.
They have these blankets that look like a burrito, like a tortilla. I was thinking about getting her one for Christmas.
That's awesome. Look, migraine medicine sucks. So I this is only the second time I've actually used this emergency rescue stuff, right? And I couldn't use it while I was driving. I now know that I can use it while driving. It makes me slightly more sleepy. It just you feel it drag it, but it's not like right all of a sudden, right? It does kind of bring your energy level down a little bit. Makes you feel I don't get dizzy, I don't get wobbly. Words suck, but I struggle with words on the regular anyhow. After my little 93 head injury. And it's funny because it seems to amplify my word issue. But I can still like I'm still quick on other things, like things that require you reaction times and things like it's weird. I don't know how to explain it.
You guys had no idea. Charlie and I talk every day, and you should hear us. I can't remember names, and he has his word thing.
Yeah.
So I'm like, that dude, and he's like, oh, with that
Yeah.
thing, that
Mike.
thing.
Right, Mike. Yeah, got it. And then I'm like, word, when you do this thing and you do that and it makes this happen. He's like, yeah, that. And I'm like, oh God. I usually fill in those words with an F-bomb or something colorful like it. That's what happens. It's very odd. You should see Jeff and I like in a large public setting, such as Expedite Expo. Jeff's like, what was that guy's name? I'm like, what was that thing called?
Yep. I can remember the things. Right. Charlie can remember the names together. We've got it.
We are a complete person. It's weird. Trucker Tim's with you. He can't remember names. I really work at names. And it's simply because I have this weird thing about believing names are super important and people remember that you remember their name, right? So I actually used to be very bad at names, and now I go through an exercise with names. I say their name over and over in my head when I meet them, and that's the only way I remember them. And when people aren't around, I'll say them out loud.
One of our more shall we say, prolific clients is Wanda, and I still have to
just talked
say
to her
a
today.
fish. I still have to say a fish called Wanda in my head
Right.
to remember her
Keyword.
name.
It's funny. I literally just talked to her today. It was great.
Nice.
Yeah, they're fighting with a Freightliner dealership right now, and yeah, on an
Oh,
insurance claim. So it's an insurance claim, and they're like, "Yeah, we need half the money up front."
on an insurance claim?
Yeah, right. And said that she didn't respond to their email, so it's been sitting for a week with absolutely nothing done. She's like, "No, here it is. I responded directly to it. Not only did I respond to it, but you responded to my response and said thank you for the response." It's
Oh,
a
that's not a
thing,
good
bro.
dealership.
It's a bad deal right now. So she's probably actually going to go out and recover 2 trucks for EFs, one in Tennessee and one in Oregon. They're going to pay her for it. It's only $200
Yeah,
bucks a
nice.
day, but hey, it's better than nothing. They're going to, I think they're renting a car for them to drive out to Tennessee from Georgia to recover the first one and take it back to Mississippi. Then their EF's going to fly them from Mississippi out to Oregon to recover another truck for them. And they're paying them like $200 bucks a day. So whatever. I mean, it's not great money, but it's better than nothing. No,
Each? Oh,
no.
of course not. No.
Yeah,
I mean, it's better. Yeah, it's better than nothing when you're sitting.
I tried to. I was like, hey, why don't you, tell Dee to go pick up the one in Oregon. You go pick up the one in Tennessee, and it came back that they had to team the one from Oregon, so it didn't work out.
That makes sense. That's
Yeah.
a distance right there.
You're right.
Tennessee's just down the road, but
You're right. It didn't work, but whatever. But they're probably going to do that. She asked me what I thought about it. I said I would do it. If I'm not working, I get bored. When I get bored at home, bad things happen.
So another thing that's coming up for us guys, and if you want to put in the chat any questions you have for ES Success in Trucking and what their programs are, what the deal is with them, we will take those questions to them when we meet them on April 11th.
Yep.
We're going
gonna
down
meet
there
with
on
them
April
the
11th.
11th and 12th.
And so any questions you have about their programs, how they help people get into trucks, how they get contracts for people, put them in the comments and we will be monitoring that. And we will ask those questions and get answers for you.
Right. I locked up Jeff's brain. I started a comment.
Let's put it up because I'm going to be locked up until it's. Blackbeard wants to know, how are the loads looking on the load board? I'm thinking about getting off ERF and going back OTR if the loads and miles are there. If you are making money on ERF, I would stay on ERF. If you've got the relationships and they're keeping you moving, I would do that, because the freight that we're seeing on the load board is no different than the freight we're being planned on.
Right.
So it's still that average of 2,000 miles a week. That is the fleet average right now, according to the owner operator division. Still. So
it's a bummer.
I am optimistic because I've seen a bump in my own mileage the last couple of weeks, and I'm hoping that it's not an anomaly. But I think we're still not quite there yet. I'm not seeing, so I'm seeing like 1,200, 1,300 mile loads on the load board, but not every time I look. Yeah, it's OTR. There's no difference between the load board is not going to be any different than OTR. I guess that's the answer. This week is 1,500 miles for Blackbeard. Is that loaded or is that loaded plus empty?
And he's saying,
because here's something. Here's something that I do, Blackbeard. When I'm running my sheet for the week, I actually only count my loaded miles on that.
Right.
If that makes sense. Now, when I reconcile the end of the week when the settlements come out, I'll make sure I get paid everything, of course. But when I'm doing my sheet, I'm only concerned with loaded miles. So when I say 2,000 miles, that's my loaded miles, just like what. So that was your loaded miles, 1,500 loaded miles. I might pick up a couple hundred empty miles in there over the course of a week. OTR is going to be less empty than what you're used to on ERF, though. So that might be a thing
Right.
to look at. So yeah, it's still tough, man. One of the talking points when I was doing the call with this young man today, he wanted to know about, how's our mileage looking? I'm like, dude, it's the same as you're doing as a company driver,
Right.
maybe even a little less.
Yep.
And I had to explain to him, and this is something that has come up in the group, Charlie. So let's address it real quick.
Right.
Freight rates are down still. So there may be, and Swift will never tell us if this is the case. Not even Charlie, Mr.
Right.
Swift. He will not get this answer from them.
Mr.
But,
Swift.
I have to say that with freight rates the way they are and what we're being paid to move it, why would they give you a load that's only paying $1.50 a mile to Swift?
Right.
I think that's a factor right now.
I think it absolutely is as well.
We might
Can't
actually
prove it, but it makes sense.
We may be actually coming in below company drivers right now because of that. Now, when the contracts, Michael is bringing up the contract negotiation season is coming up. If they, a lot of Swiss freight is contract freight. It's not spot market freight. So if they can negotiate some of those rates a little higher, that's going to help us.
Right. Tim said he only saw 1,400 miles last week, and this week was only about 1,600. Excuse me. I actually did slightly better than last week this week, and I didn't. I lost count of what I was doing, and but here's the deal. So Rosie and our team. Now, granted, we only work 4 days a week. Okay, so let's just be real about this, and we're running target freight, so it's not super team freight, but it's team freight, right? But we only did 2,996 miles for the week. Now, I know teams on this account that ran every bit of their 70 out and probably did great miles. But they're tired. I can tell you that. They're like, man, we need this 34.
Absolutely.
And they were absolutely. I saw them at the QT in Valdosta the other night or last night. It was funny. They were like, bro, I'm tired. That you remember the guy that was in the El Paso terminal and he swapped over to Target because they were giving him a hard time, Jeff?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was him.
Don't ask me his name.
That's funny. I'm not telling you either. And it was cool because they're like, yeah, man, we ran our tails off this weekend. She had 45 minutes left on her 70, and he was like down to an hour or two, something like that.
Nice.
And they were an hour from the DC. So yeah, some of these dedicated deals are something to look at right now. If you can get into them, it's just hard. Bless you.
It's that time of year, man.
Yeah, Craig, in need of a spring break. Hey, Tim, you have a good night, buddy. Appreciate you, man. Thanks for hanging out and all that kind of stuff. You're awesome, man. Realistically, Blackbeard says he needs 2,000 a week for business at home. Yeah, and some weeks are tough right now. I mean, for
that's kind of the minimum when you've got a payment. Now on when I was running the 16 without a payment, if I turned the truck on, I made money. But that's not the case with the payment.
Hell, that's funny. Turkey Tim's parked at the theater. He said, I'll catch the rest of the replay. I'll catch the rest of the show on replay. I got tickets to see Arthur the King at the theater and parked at. Figured giving them business will help me keep from getting a knock on the door. That's legit right there. Yep. Rosie and I used to do that a lot when we were OTR. Like we would go find a theater and hang out and go watch 2 movies and eat
Nice.
12 tons of popcorn.
Yeah, my loaded miles this week were 1,920. So not awesome.
Yeah. Blackbeard, 9 more months than paid off. Nice. I like it. Michael Fowler, Vegas in 3 weeks. There you go. I dig it. Oh yeah, because I get it. Spring break for you guys at Bush. They got their inventory going on. I forgot, and they're shut down for like the weekend, pretty much, right? Something like that. I don't know. Some days I can't remember anything except people's names.
Yeah.
Can't remember what that doohickeys called, but I could point it out and draw it for you, maybe. Oh man. So yeah. Hey, for any of you guys out there, let's do some ad stuff. Trucker CFO, you looking for an accountant? Check that dude out. He's awesome. He talks to you like dude people. I'm just saying, you can have a good conversation with that guy, and his people are pretty awesome. For you guys
Hey,
out
so
there,
amazing thing for me, my taxes are done already.
right?
I haven't had my taxes done on time in 15 years.
It's crazy.
Just saying.
That's just awesome. No, I dig it.
And I heard from some of you guys that got your taxes done before me, and I was pissed. I was like, hey, guys,
right?
why aren't my taxes done? Well, because you didn't send us these thing that I emailed you about 3 weeks ago. And I'm like, oh, my bad.
Yeah, that's funny. It's hilarious. Hey, and if you guys need insurance, give Seabright a call. Whether you're a Swift guy or not, if you have to pay for your trucking insurance, you ought to give Seabright a call. See if they can hook you up with a deal. Mention Contractors Corner and see what they can do, because when you mention that name, you actually get a different deal than if you don't mention that name. I know it's crazy, but 1-800-366-6466. Give them a call. And you look, fuel card, we're just going to go through all of them right here. If you go to esuccessandtrucking.com/cc, you can get hooked up with our fuel card. I'm just saying. And you'll dig it. It's pretty awesome.
Yep.
My brain's scattered.
And if you guys are outside of Swift on that insurance, there's some bonuses for you.
Yep. You get put into a safety program.
Yep. You get a safety program as part of the deal that we're going to be doing. Our first safety class will be coming out in April. And that's one of the ways that they're going to keep the rates low, is that you have your own safety program that's independent from any carrier you might be involved with.
Right.
Again, take control of your business.
Creating separation between you and your carrier. Just saying.
And, if you're an independent guy, running your own numbers, you also get that safety program, which looks good to those brokers that you have a safety program. And, I know a lot of guys pay a monthly subscription for that. It's just part of the premiums when you're up with Seabright.
Yep.
So
yep.
I'm not going to promise that we're going to look all pretty like some of those other companies out there, but we are real truckers.
Right.
Without any accidents behind us, and we understand safety. And that's what you're going to get, is real truckers talking safety, just like real truckers talking business right here on the YouTubes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that did not help my head. I may actually have to take another shot, Jeff. That's weird. We'll have to see. I'll let you watch me do that.
So you know what helps my migraines when I get one? It works better when I'm at home because I've got a wooden headboard.
Right.
But putting pressure on my head right here.
So yeah,
helps.
It doesn't work. The opposite for me, because of it's the occipital nerve that runs from your neck, and it actually branches out on both sides of your head. And like the headphones are killing me. It's pretty awesome.
Yes, Alan Becker, safety. When you're running your own numbers and you have Seabright, you get a safety program curated by the Road Warrior Entrepreneurs. That's us.
Oh, I know what you were talking about. You were talking about when is communication enough? And so he's talking about his truck and he can't get a hold of that dude. Look, you got to make a decision on your own here, man. You know what I mean? We try, you try, you know? I don't know. I wasn't ignoring you. It was just we were in the middle of another conversation. I apologize. Uh Scotch cure for migraine, according to Blackbeard. Actually, I've tried whiskey. Makes it worse. It's weird. I don't understand why, but it
You
does.
get all dehydrated, man.
Yeah, that could be it. Look, you just saw that giant Gatorade I was drinking.
I mean, having been in the army, the actual real cure for a hangover.
Yeah,
Go see Doc.
a
Get
nice
your
chilled cold IV.
get yourself an IV.
You're right. Oh man, the good days, the old days.
I watched.
Good days.
I was a combat lifesaver, so when that would happen, I got to do it to practice because the medics they know what they're doing.
Right.
So that was the thing. If you have a hangover, Morton gets you.
Hmm.
I had one guy take 2.5 bags.
Good Lord. You know what's crazy? When I had my wreck from my dehydration, it was 7 bags before I made urine.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Wow.
7 bags. Isn't that insane?
That's
They're like, yeah,
almost
we can't
dead.
even go. Yeah, they're like, we can't even go past 7 bags. They're like,
Yeah.
you don't do that because it's bad. Yeah, it was a trip.
That's when they need to get blood for you.
Right. Oh yeah, it was a whole thing, man. Whatever.
But you survived.
Right. Did you die, bro? No. Not permanently. What?
Yeah. Oh shoot.
I'm gonna do a weird thing. Trucker Todd, for those of you who don't know, had a bunch of strokes. Actually
Several
lost.
back to
Yeah.
back.
He actually just lost his home as well due to water damage.
I
So
didn't know that part.
Yeah, he's got a GoFundMe out there. I'm sorry I don't have the link for that. You could probably catch Trucker Todd on Facebooks. I know he's got a link up there on his Facebook page or Trucker Todd. Is it truckertodd.net? I think it's something like that. Dude's in a hard spot. Could be any one of us. Just saying, throwing that out there. Don't wish ill on anybody. That just sucks. And he's in a world of calamity right now, I think, with everything that happened all at once. It sucks.
Yeah, and not to make people feel too bad about it all, but so he is not eligible to drive for at least a year at this point because of those strokes.
Right. If anybody
So
knows
you
of
guys,
he's looking for a safety or recruiting job somewhere.
yeah.
Throwing it out there.
So the dude's a great recruiter. I'm just saying.
Trucker Dan said, I just booked my first load off the load board in Savannah, Georgia to Garden City, Georgia to Corsicana, Texas. There you go. Good job, man.
See, that's a good load. And I'll tell you something, Trucker Dan. I checked the board when I got here in Savannah, and there was nothing. So that tells me that gives me a warm fuzzy that my contacts were telling me good. They said there's a lot of same day freight coming out of here. Not to worry. So
Private chat.
I already said yes.
Oh, I didn't see. My bad.
I went like this.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe you were having a stroke.
I hope not. I can't afford a stroke.
Right? Good God. I
tried it. So I found this friend on Facebook's who's also a trucker. He's doing something similar to us, but he's focusing mostly on the life coaching thing.
Right.
And here's something that's a little ironic is he posted about stress on the road and how to not be so stressful recently. And
Right.
I should actually grab some of his posts and share them for you guys because he's trying to do a thing. So this is a guy that he rolled his truck like a year and a half ago. It's just now getting back in the truck. Took some of the same courses I did on how to help people, and decided he's going to do the life coaching thing and do it
Right.
from a trucker's perspective. And he's got some really good stuff. I'll share some of his stuff there on the Facebooks. But so he comes out with this thing about all the things that could happen to you if you're too stressed on the road, and then Trucker Todd has these strokes right about the
Right.
same.
I mean, it's crazy.
So
At
we
the
have to
same
take
time,
care
I'm
of
getting
ourselves out
all
here.
I'm getting all like tripped out on my blood pressure and stuff right now because I had this look. I already had this white lab coat thing that happens right when they come to take my blood pressure. It spikes every damn time. They have to talk me down off the ledge every single time. It's ridiculous. But so and I've been trying to desensitize myself. My daughter has been taking my blood pressure because she does it at work all the time. I'm like, hey, take mine like you would do it. And, so I'm trying to get that under control, get past the whole lab thing. But I am noticing that I'm getting a little better with it, right? But if you think about it, blood pressure, that's gnarly. That's a career killer. Um, sometimes it literally is just stress. It is completely mental that is freaking you out. And, you kind of got to come to a realization at some point. There are things you can control in life and there are things you cannot. Stop trying to
Right.
control the things that you cannot. You need to learn how to work around them, through them, over them, whatever, or with them. But don't stress over the things that you can't change. It sounds simple, harder to do in the reality. It's weird. Josh
It
McClain,
is
good to
weird.
see you, buddy. Matt says stop following him. He's afraid of you.
I'm worried because Matt threatened to hunt me down earlier in one of
I
the
know, right?
things. You won't find me though, Matt. My truck looks the same as everybody else's now.
Right. TK, my brother from another mother, what's going on? He said, I really have to remember the difference between Phoenix and Florida's time zone when it comes to the start times. Whatever, bro. Whatever. 3 p.m. Eastern or 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Phoenix time right now because of the time change. Just saying.
Yeah, they actually don't change times. More to the point.
Oh, Jeff, look, there was also a load from Florence to South Spanish Fork.
Spanish Fork.
What?
It was snowing there yesterday, so I don't know about that. I'm committed to spending tomorrow creating value for all of our tens of followers,
Yes, the tens and tens of
and then
viewers.
hitting it again on Thursday.
Jeff Matt said he needs to bring you your books. Duh.
Oh shoot! Well, I'll be here till Thursday, Matt. So Matt, I'm at this pilot just north of Savannah on I-95. Since you're from here, I'm sure you know what I could say about this place. I have seen things here since I parked here that I have not seen in years. This place is sketchy, man.
You need me to run you up some protection, Jeff? Just say,
Oh man. Oh, it snowed in my house today. That's nice.
he said that used to be a Wilco there. Just saying.
Okay. I'm just saying that I could see an individual approaching me as I was backing in, but I quickly closed my curtains before she could get to my truck. And I haven't seen that in years.
So Matt actually worked there.
Oh, okay. Was it sketchy then?
Right. Brian said he's researching bulk commodities now for end dump and hopper bottom. I know it's dirty work, but from what he's seen, they pay. True story.
They do. They do. We have other people that are looking at bulk hauling as well.
At one point, I actually looked at putting a PTO on Chewy to do local Florida stuff.
Yeah.
Still always in the thought process, honestly. Oh man. Hey, you know what? We're gonna end this thing early tonight, and you can blame my headache for that. We have to prepare for a podcast that we have to do in an hour. So for that, I do apologize, but I do want to thank you guys for. Good God, the chat just went to hell.
I knew it would.
Yeah,
I'm going for engagement, man. Going
I
for
get it.
engagement.
On that note, thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for checking in with us every week, and you die hard guys, man. We love you guys. Be safe out there. Take care of each other. There's no one out here taking care of us but us. And we will be back here next week, next Tuesday, 6 p.m. Eastern time. That's 3 p.m. Phoenix time, TK. Just going to throw that out there for you, buddy. And we will see you then. You guys stay safe.
Do the math.
Do math. Math is your friend.
I know it sucks, but do the math.
It's hard.